Good morning again and welcome. It's time for the strips this time. And of course, like Queen would say, it's her best moment all Sunday. Welcome. Let's do the strips. Of course, Queen will be joining Celestine. How are you? Let's do the strips together, shall we? Queen, where are you? I think our director, Raji, is a bit occupied. Raji,
I am
focus.
right here.
All right, Queen, good. So today we have a very interesting set of strips, which were gotten from across the week from different newspapers. Let's start with one called Campaign Promises, 100% Steam. This one's very interesting. Let's remember the Osun elections now. The Osun elections that just ended. This cartoon mocks the gap between campaign rhetorics and what politicians actually have to offer. The empty pot, well, that's the central metaphor here. It's labeled Campaign Promises, 100% Steam. So while the politicians insist that the people can be fed hope on high steam is what they're feeding you guys now, the joke is that there is plenty of heat, but absolutely no substance. And the ingredients, you can see them on the wall there. There's a list. It says uncapped promises, 89%, rhetoric. There's also recycled manifesto. There's what else? There's hot air. There's patience, only 20%. Song and dance, and that's what gives this cartoon away, because song and dance only goes with one governor. And of course, you know, Adeleke is a dancer, and he loves to, you know, put up a show once in a while. So this is against the backdrop of the Osun governorship elections that just ended, and the cartoon is essentially asking, what exactly were voters being offered beyond promises, beyond what they know? It also captures the transactional nature of electioneering. Politicians can make all these promises during campaigns while voters are expected to just simply remain patient when delivery doesn't match the rhetorics that they're giving. So what do you think about this one? Queen, is from Business Day and it is a suko.
It's very simple. If there's one thing I need to say there is, while they are cooking, they need to understand that the steam goes up. You that is cooking will get affected by the steam. Keep promising, don't fulfill it, it will get to you. That's all I have to say.
Okay, we'll leave it so, because we have more, no problem. Let's take a look at our next one. It's a very interesting one, this one. And of course, you can also have a part. You can also always send us in one if you like. We could take it on the next weekend. Let's talk about father-daughter. I love this. This is Bulama from Daily Trust. Because Borno is not Oyo. Now, 100 Days of Captivity. This is arguably the most political and pointed cartoon of all the four that we have today. We just came off of an interview, a conversation with Kirawa, who broke down while he was telling us about the fact that we still have kids who have been in captivity 100 days since after. That broke us down in the studio here. Now, the daughter here is asked in a very simple question, why are Borno school children still in captivity after 100 days? And the father's answering, because Borno is not Oyo. Remember the Oyo kids? They were rescued. Now, it turns geography here into political accusation. We had that instance, it was attended to, but the Borno instance, 100 days, we don't hear anything about it, Queen. We really haven't heard anything about these kids after 100 days in captivity. Imagine when it was the Oyo instance. It was on every single bit, on the news, social media, people were talking about it. Why is there that disparity? This cartoon is suggesting that the urgency with which government responds to insecurity may depend on where the victims are actually located, rather than simply on the seriousness of the crime. The reference here to Borno immediately invokes the long-running insurgency and vulnerability of school children in the Northeast. Any thoughts here, Queen?
Well, we talked about remember when, you know, the children from Oyo were rescued after 40-something days. We talked about it to say the next thing we'll hear is, what about us? And that is exactly what's happening. If, you know, it took them that short time to be able to get them, why don't you replicate, you know, the operation on this other side? And it's really heartbreaking, although we've had conversations where they said, oh, we don't necessarily have to give you all the detail of what we're doing because it's social media, people are hearing, people are listening, we can tell you our strategy. But 100 days, parents are concerned, they're frustrated, and we're just praying and hoping that this does not end badly, because it is really, really disturbing.
I won't say anything, I'll just leave it there, because I think what you've just said caps it all. There's no point to overflog it. Let's move on to our third one for today. Hunger Warhead, the flag off of campaign season is here. Ladies and gentlemen, no, not this one. We'll come back to this one. This one's it's a bit ambiguous, but it's the one with the missiles. Yes! Very interesting. Let's talk about this. Campaign season flagged off during the week last week. This cartoon takes aim at perhaps one of Nigeria's most enduring electoral practices. If you look there, you'll see it, turning poverty into political currency. The missiles are labeled Hunger Original Rice Warhead. Now, that's deliberate. It's absurd, but it's great imagery because rice and food are being portrayed as weapons. It's weaponized during campaign season, and politicians, well, they instruct that you ensure that it hits the grassroots for maximum votes, because that's where they really intend for this kind of mechanism to actually take effect. The poor people, the vulnerable people who, you know, food is very, very necessary. They'll go for it. So food isn't being distributed primarily as welfare. It's as warfare. It's being deployed as electoral weapon. And then there's also the campaign van in the corner here, if you can see that with the two politicians. What does it say? Vote honorable for constant rice and corn. Rice for all? Okay, it's rice for all. So that slogan is the punchline. The promise of constant food is presented as an inducement for votes. What you think, Queen? Are you expecting any missiles in your...
I hope...
Where are you from? Ugoja?
Ah.
Where's that place you're from?
Biase.
Biase. What's it like there when it comes to elections period? What do you know? Have you ever been there?
I don't know. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like.
You should go home often.
I don't want to.
But have you ever experienced election or in electioneering in a maybe a grassroots instance?
I've seen. I've seen a lot of people collecting palliatives, and it's always the same thing. If it's not rice, it's oil, it's noodles, and it's always the same thing. But the question now to the people is, after that, you wait for another 4 years to collect another one
bag of rice, yeah?
At the detriment of no road, no insecurity. I think people need to, or I believe that Nigerians are beginning to understand that the rice will only last you for about 2 months, and then you have the remaining 3 years and 10 months to live without that rice. So you have to make your decision. Don't sell your votes for rice. It's not going to do anything for you.
Don't monetize your votes. Don't rice-atize your votes.
Right.
Let's put it that way. Interesting cartoon here. Asuka, once again, Business Day. I love Business Day for their cartoons. And this one, Okpara again, Business Day. Yet again, let's talk about this. Very interesting. Thugs after election. Osun in the limelight again. And of course, the courtroom makes its way into this cartoon. This is probably the most humorous one of the cartoons we have today. But there's a serious point underneath it all. The thief here is grabbing what appears to be a ballot box, only to discover, I don't think he has yet, he's being told that it contains akara. As in, calm down, akara, you're the thief. So the woman shouts, stop, that's not akara. That's not a ballot box. Sorry, hey, stop, that's akara, not ballot. And then the thug here is saying, go to court. So the punchline is doing a lot of work here. Against the backdrop of the just concluded Osun elections, it's walking the familiar Nigerian post-election cycle. Of course, we can see that happening already. Election, dispute, accusation, litigation. But the cartoon also adds another layer. The thug doesn't even need a legitimate argument. Go to court becomes a, reflective, political, response to almost anything that goes wrong during the elections. That's what we're seeing, because we have heard that there are certain discrepancies that are being considered by the opposing party that might take them to the judiciary. Queen, your thought? You're laughing. I want to say, first of all, congratulations, INEC. Once again, I'm saying it today. I loved the conduct of the election. There was very limited violence or moments of violence or discrepancies. That we have to give a hand to INEC. The people of Oyo, however, did you see the video with them escorting their ballot boxes to the...
I saw.
on motorcycles?
I saw.
Ingenious, brilliant.
I think, to be fair, again, we need to, the cartoon says it all. We need to understand that the ballot is not just paper. That is our life.
Yeah.
And for some, the first food you eat in the morning is your life, which is akara and pap. So we all have to be careful as to what we are doing to not endanger ourselves. We've had strips here where we saw one where they went for, to collect another money, and they said, don't worry, the future generation will pay. We need to be careful.
That's about our national debt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I hope that we take into consideration these things.
I just noticed how gleeful she looks. She's like,
I got you. I'm coming for you.
On that note, that's it for the strips today. Thank you very much, Queen, for joining. Always a pleasure to do this. I love the strips. I think in a Nigerian instance, the cynicism of Nigerians can always be translated into comedy, and comedy actually is one way that we get to understand things as Nigerians. Thank you very much.